Cowboys Nation, hold on to your hats. The star that's been lighting up Cleveland might just be headed to the Lone Star State. Nick Chubb, the Browns' four-time Pro Bowl running back, could be trading in his orange for America's silver and blue. Is this the move that finally brings the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas? Stick around as we break down this potential game-changing trade that's set to shake up the NFL. Hey there, Cowboys Nation and NFL fans. Today we are going to discuss explosive news that's shaking up the league as we speak. You're not going to believe this one, folks, but stick with me because we've got a lot to unpack today. All right, let's dive right into it. Word on the street is that the Dallas Cowboys are on the verge of landing a four-time Pro Bowl running back from the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know what you're thinking, who could it possibly be? Well, hold on to your hats, because we're talking about none other than Nick Chubb. That's right, you heard it here first. Nick Chubb, the man who's been tearing up the gridiron for the Browns since 2018, might just be suiting up in the iconic silver and blue next season. This is the kind of move that doesn't just change a team, it changes the entire landscape of the NFL. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of what this could mean for both teams, let's take a moment to appreciate just how big of a star we're talking about here. Nick Chubb isn't just any running back, he's a force of nature. Since entering the league, Chubb has been nothing short of phenomenal. We're talking about a guy who's rushed for over 1,000 yards in 4 out of his 5 NFL seasons. His vision, his power, his speed, it's all top tier. And let's not forget about his incredible 2022 season, where he racked up 1,525 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. That's the kind of production that can transform an offense overnight. Now, I know some of you might be scratching your heads, wondering why the Browns would even consider letting go of such a talented player. Well, that's where things get interesting. The NFL is a business, after all. And sometimes teams have to make tough decisions based on factors like salary cap space, long-term strategy, and the emerging talent on their roster. The Browns have been in a bit of a cap crunch lately, and with young talents like Jerome Ford showing promise, they might be looking to free up some space and build for the future. It's a tough pill to swallow for Browns fans, no doubt, but that's the nature of the game. But enough about the Browns, let's talk about what this means for America's team, our Dallas Cowboys. If this deal goes through, it could be an absolute game changer for the Cowboys' offense. We all know that Dallas has been searching for that perfect balance in their running game ever since the departure of Ezekiel Elliott. Tony Pollard has shown flashes of brilliance, but adding a proven workhorse like Chubb to the mix, that's taking things to a whole new level. Just imagine for a second Dak Prescott under center, CeeDee Lamb stretching the field, and Nick Chubb in the backfield. That's the kind of offensive firepower that keeps defensive coordinators up at night, folks. But here's the thing, Cowboys fans, whatever the cost, it might just be worth it. We're talking about a team that's been on the cusp of greatness for years now. A team that's been so close to breaking through and reclaiming its place at the top of the NFL mountain. Could Nick Chubb be the missing piece that finally puts them over the top? Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but wait, don't the Cowboys already have a solid running back in Tony Pollard? And you're absolutely right. Pollard has been a fantastic player for Dallas, especially last season when he really came into his own. But here's the thing, in today's NFL, you can never have too many weapons. The most successful teams are the ones that can attack defenses in multiple ways. By bringing in Chubb, the Cowboys would be creating one of the most dynamic backfields in the league. Imagine a two-headed monster of Chubb and Pollard. Chubb bringing the thunder with his powerful, between the tackles running style, and Pollard providing the lightning with his explosiveness and receiving ability. That's the kind of versatility that can keep defenses guessing and open up the entire playbook for offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. Speaking of Schottenheimer, let's talk about how Chubb would fit into the Cowboys' offensive scheme. We all know that head coach Mike McCarthy loves to establish the run to set up the pass. With Chubb in the backfield, that philosophy becomes even more potent. Chubb's ability to consistently gain positive yardage and wear down defenses would open up so many opportunities in the passing game. Play-action passes become more effective, linebackers have to respect the run threat, and suddenly, those deep shots to CeeDee Lamb become even more dangerous. But it's not just about the on-field production. Nick Chubb brings something else to the table that can't be measured in yards or touchdowns: leadership. Throughout his career in Cleveland, Chubb has been known as a consummate professional. He's a quiet leader who lets his play do the talking. In a locker room full of big personalities like the Cowboys have, that kind of steady presence can be invaluable. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: the NFC East. We all know that the division has been ultra-competitive in recent years, with the Eagles and the Cowboys battling it out for supremacy. Adding a player of Chubb's caliber could be the move that tips the scales decisively in Dallas's favor. Imagine the Cowboys rolling into Philadelphia or New York with Chubb leading the charge. It's the kind of move that not only improves your own team but also puts fear into the hearts of your rivals. The Eagles, Giants, and Commanders would all have to go back to the drawing board to figure out how to contain this new-look Cowboys offense. But let's zoom out even further and look at the NFC as a whole. We've seen teams like the 49ers dominate with a strong running game complementing their passing attack. By adding Chubb, the Cowboys would be positioning themselves to go toe-to-toe with the best the conference has to offer. Now, I know some of you might be concerned about Chubb's long-term durability. After all, running backs tend to have shorter careers due to the physical nature of the position. But here's the thing: Chubb has shown remarkable consistency and toughness throughout his career. And by pairing him with Pollard, the Cowboys could manage his workload to keep him fresh for a deep playoff run. Speaking of playoffs, let's talk about what this move could mean for the Cowboys' Super Bowl aspirations. We all know that Jerry Jones is hungry for another championship. The Cowboys have been knocking on the door for years now, but they've struggled to get over the hump in the postseason. Could Nick Chubb be the final piece of the puzzle? Could he be the one to help carry this team to the promised land? It's too early to say for sure, but one thing's certain: he'd give them a much better shot. Now, before we wrap things up, I want to hear from you, the fans. What do you think about this potential move? Are you excited about the prospect of seeing Nick Chubb in a Cowboys uniform? Or do you think Dallas should stick with what they've got and focus on other areas of need? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. And while you're at it, if you're enjoying this content, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. We'll be keeping a close eye on this story as it develops, and you won't want to miss any updates. Until next time, stay passionate, stay loud, and above all, stay true to the star. Go Cowboys!